ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ಷರಧಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು 10ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಆಗಸ್ಟು 2023. ಇನ್ನು 4 ದಿವಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆ ನಾವು ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಬನ್ನಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮತ್ತು ಹಿಂದಿನ ವೀಡಿಯೋಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟಿಪ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಗೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. I hope those tips will be useful for you. So let's see what's in the today newspaper, guys. And before going to start today newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. If you like the video, please subscribe, share with your friends, and see you in the and I can bring very informative videos related to healthcare, education, and personal interviews, especially in the field of education. So let's see what's in the today newspaper. This same Independence Day, switch to iPhone 14. Shah appeals for peace in Manipur, backs CM Biren. Center does not intend to make demographic changes in Manipur. Ethnic violence is shameful, but politicizing is even more shameful, says minister during debate on no confidence motion. Rahul says BJP Manipur politics is an onslaught on Bharat Mata. Detained by police says the Shah Gandhi panel flags shortage of fertilizers. SC poses query on J&K constitution. Terror-related deaths continue in Kashmir. Center slams in SC that peace prevails in J&K. India brushes aside Pakistan tops table. Pakistan parliament to be dissolved to set stage for election. We are working on incentivizing public transport. Colleges not keen to offer evening engineering schools. Government plans year-long events from November 1st. No police operations without presence of central forces. Shah assures Cookie Joe team. Developing indigenous web browser grab cash prizes. Contractors threaten still overdues. The number of elephants in state goes up by 364 from last census. Touches 6,395. Disruption in power supply. Public working with government to incentivize public transport. Police commissioner. Senior police officials suggest companies should promote bus pooling and also open up their premises for thoroughfare to ease congestion. 2 children run over by speeding goods vehicle. One 61 of Karnataka's elephants sighted in private lands. Census. Seal up beer of one brand bottled on July 15 stopped. Curtailment of metro services and Purple Line extended till August 11. Man kills friend in a drunken brawl. Police had the lookout for over 140 Bangladeshi nationals. L&T will move from strength to strength in service of nation and society. Navigating towards a greener future, Dani. Bangalore it under notice. Former AGM of bank among five convicted by CBI court. Despite AICTE note, college is not interested to offer evening engineering course for working professionals. This is a U-turn from the situation 4 years ago, while AICTE stated that if any working professionals is interested in engineering courses, they should join regular colleges through lateral entry. KA allows SSMS, IMSR to fill 50% government quota medical seats with no fees. Software tool to help design supplementary feeding program. Saspandana cremated. Over 100 Namma clinics to stay open till 8 p.m. Filing appeal against conviction will not disentitle a convict from parole. I could. Combined option entry records 62 lakh entries. Right now, our grouse is not grabbed but non clearance of bills. Year-long events planned from November 1 to mark Golden Jubilee of States renaming. Chilvarayaswamy meets Governor. Bar Council prints fresh invitation excluding name of the case for our lawyers meet in Mysore. Non-disclosure of assets by candidate amounts to corrupt practice. High Court. Ex-student held for posting obscene photos. Startup solutions from Bangalore for a sustainable circular future. From reusable packaging materials to recycling batteries to republished products. Circular economy startups try to find a business model that is profitable and at the same time kinder to the planet. Survey finds 41% of 41% of respondents in Bangalore consume foods with artificial sweeteners. The top 10 products with artificial sweeteners consumed by people include diet soda drinks, sugar-free gums, and energy drinks. Conversion of Bangalore Mysore line will promote industries. Women flourish in many aspects of filmmaking. Register for Open MIC. A virtual conversation, exploration of art and science when art breaks boundaries. Orbit direction a maneuver of Chandrayaan 3 performed. Karnataka governor visits houses of five freedom fighters. Man loses 7.2 lakh to fraudster. Change state's name to Keralamal. Let's read this. What how the people are losing the money nowadays. The offering to increase the credit card limit, a man cheated the secretary of a private school and made away with 7.2 lakh. Based on the complaint by Naveen Rao from Jakur, the Amrutali police registered a case of cheating under various sections of IT Act on Saturday, and on efforts are on to track down the accused through the details of the transaction. Mr. Rao, in his complaint, said that the accused, identifying himself as Manish Sharma, a bank executive, offered to increase his credit card limit. The accused sent a link asking Mr. Rao to enter the credit card number. After he completed the task, Sharma asked him to download an app. Suspecting something fishy, Mr. Rao refused. Sharma somehow convinced him and sent his associate to his residence in Baswangudi for the will validation process. The accused approached him with a mobile phone in a covered envelope with the bank logo. He took the SIM card and put it in the SIM mobile phone the accused had carried and switched it on. A few seconds later, he returned the SIM stating that the validation is completed and left the place. The scam came to light when Mr. Rao received the message from the bank that a total of 7.2 lakh had been debited in six transactions. You guys have to always remember while giving the OTP as some other related to OTP password. Never ever give to anybody. Let's go read the editorial page. The calculus behind political neutrality. What is the strategy of unaligned price parties? Unaligned parties for the 2024 general election. While the India Alliance, so the neutral parties, there are three major parties in this camp: the Biju Janata Dal, the Yuva Jana Shramika Ritu So I hope this is not important for the point of examination. So let me go to the next page. So which is national international page. Stop the offense sitting in cluster bomb use. The decision by the United States to send cluster munitions to Ukraine as part of a new military and package aid package to bolster Kyiv's war efforts against Russia has raked up controversy. Cluster munitions are cluster bombs are weapons that release multiple explosive sub-munitions, also called bomblets, into the air. These sub-munitions explode as soon as they hit the ground, killing and maiming people in the area. Many bomblets do not blow up instantly and remain dormant for years, also known as the dude rate. Dirt rate. These inactive bomblets act as precarious landmines, posing a grave threat to the civilian population, including women and children. For a long time, according to the Human Rights Watch, which is a civil society organization, Russia, since launching a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, has used cluster bombs against Ukraine in cities such as Kharkiv, resulting in hundreds of civilian deaths and damaging civilian objects such as homes, hospitals, and schools. Now, Ukraine using these dangerous weapons will worsen the situation. Cluster bombs have a notorious history. They were used in the Second World War. Since then, cluster bombs have been used on multiple occasions, including by the US in the wars in Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. According to the Cluster Munition Monitor, anywhere between 56,000 to 86,000 people have died in cluster munition affected countries since the 1960s. Enactment of convention. Along with its increasing use, the international campaign against cluster bombs led by the civil society organizations such as Human Rights Watch also gathered momentum. This resulted in an international treaty called the Convention on Cluster Munitions being enacted in May 2008. The enactment of the CCM has been a major step in eradicating cluster bombs. However, the treaty is not universal. 112 countries have acceded to the CCM, including many North Atlantic Treaty Organization members such as Canada, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. But important countries such as the US, Russia, China, Israel, and India have not signed the CCM. Ukraine is not a member. Article 1 of the CCM bans the use, production, stockpiling, and transfer of cluster bombs. The convention further obligates countries to destroy existing stockpile of cluster munitions in their possession. Countries are also legally bound to develop a victim assistance program to provide support and rehabilitation to the cluster bomb victims in their jurisdiction. Customary international law. Given that there is such an international treaty, are Russia and Ukraine violating international law by using cluster bombs? Since these countries are not signatories to the CCM, it is argued that they are not bound by international law banning cluster bombs. This is not correct. International law on of armed conflicts has always drawn a distinction between combatants and civilian populations and between civilian objects and military objectives. In this regard, a fundamental customary international law norm applicable to armed conflicts is the prohibition of indiscriminate attacks. In other words, an essential canon of international law is that the use of force must be discriminate. That is, the force should target specific military objectives and not civilians. This CIL norm is codified in Article 51.4 of Additional Protocol 1 to the 1949 Geneva Convention, to which bomb Russia and Ukraine are parties. Given the nature of cluster bombs, their usage is a classic example of indiscriminate use of force that fails to differentiate between combatants and civilians or between civilian objects and military objectives and is thus illegal. Another fundamental international humanitarian law norm relevant here is proportionality, codified in Article 51.5 of the Additional Protocol first to the 1949 Geneva Conventions. This rule prohibits excessive use of force that causes incidental damage to the civilian population or civilian objects. When compared to military benefits anticipated, given the fact that the use of cluster bombs is inherently indiscriminate, harming civilians, their use will amount to disproportionate use of force and is thus illegal. In sum, even if Russia and Ukraine are not signatories to the CCM, their use of cluster bombs violates international law. But what about the US, arguably supplying cluster bombs to Ukraine outside of the CCM that Washington has not signed? Is not a violation of international law. Moreover, it is claimed that the US made cluster bombs, unlike the Russian ones, have a low dead rate. That is, the prospects of unexploded bomblets are slim. Thus, questionably, they meet the requirements of the use of force being proportional and indiscriminate. Nonetheless, supplying cluster bombs to any country is an irresponsible act. The usage and the possession and transfer of or supply of cluster bombs should be banned universally, as envisaged in the CCM. For this has to happen, all United States nations member countries should accede to the CCM and eradicate cluster bombs from the face of the earth. Chasing consensus, the international community can push Russia and Ukraine towards talks. The anatomy of a riot. The crisis in higher education, government coalition and VCs weighs heavily on students. Climbs of fees in J and K amid the continuing terror-related deaths. Poonch and Rajouri districts are accounted for 50% of the terror-related deaths in 2023. Delinking of AR and TV. China goes 10 months without envoy in India. The post has not gone empty for such a long period in recent memory. Despite the upcoming G20 summit, there has been no urgency, and Beijing is yet to suggest any names to Indian officials. Some observers see delay as messaging to India and referring to its contention of ties being abnormal. Shoppies puffies in Manipur backs Biren. SC judge recuses from hearing Omar Khalid's plea. Bridge Bhushan urges court not to frame charges. Onslaught on Bharat Mata. Was it necessary to amend Indian constitution to recognize some other constitution? Was it necessary to impose pathos on the power of the parliament? Khanna to raise human rights issues during India visit. US civil rights groups detained on way to rally, says Tushar Gandhi. Manipur HC notice to governments. Assam rifles over contemptibly. Develop web browser and grab cash prizes. Bharat Mata has always stood tall in the face of attacks, Smriti Irani. Minister stalks Rahul Gandhi for his remarks, saying it was the first time in parliamentary history that someone had made such comments. Irani targets opposition by saying that many non-BJP ruled states too had welcomed the Adani group. Irani remarks tantamount to contempt of court. Homer. Tharoor hails Rahul Gandhi's LS speech as brainstorming. Complaint against Rachada sent to privileges committee. Women BJP MPs submit a written complaint to Speaker. Double engine government has stood as a mute spectator. Karimoji. Rajya Sabha passes four bills as opposition stages walkout. Manipur debate in Rajya Sabha last image of rules. To curb price rise, center to release more food grain stock by open market sale. Government hopes the measure will ensure adequate domestic availability of rice, wheat, and atta. It plans to bring down reserve price for rice by 2000 a quintal, Rus 2000 a quintal, which will now be 2900 a quintal. Center wants stop against taking part in protest march. Don't speak to media on ASS survey in Ganwapi. Quote. Rajya Sabha passes a digital personal data protection bill. CBI works with Interpol and to arrest bank fraud convict. Health Ministry defends PMJAO as CAG auditor exposes multiple frauds. House panel tells the government to ensure fertilizer availability, increase local production. Press bodies express concern over campaign against portal. Murugan known for beauty. China's economy tips into deflation. The consumer price index dropped 0.3% year on year in July. China's National Bureau of Statistics says CBI declines for the first time since February 2021. Producer price index declines for a 10th consecutive month, shrinking 4.4%. Mercedes-Benz unveils a new GLC luxury SUV at 73.5 lakh. Finman warns against frauds in the name of customs. Life insurers, a new business declines 29% in July, led by LSE. Two-wheeler EV farms face 9,000 crore loss over subsidies. Bed linen from farm Dindo count eyes doubling revenue in 3 to 4 years. EID ferries swung to 46 crore loss in Q1, quarter 1. VST tillers to go bullish on global tractor markets. Special Council got warrant for X to submit info on Trump's account. Poland to deploy additional 2,000 troops to Belarus border in 2 weeks. NAGA military digs in with cabinet appointments, rejects call for talks. Exiled Belarus opposition leader wins Swedish rights prize. Focusing on 13A without police policing powers practical, Ranil tells us. It is advisable to progress step by step, prioritizing sensitive matters could potentially hinder for attainment of any mutual agreement, says the leader. TNA says the president has successfully confused the entire country on the 13th Amendment. UK voter had data hacked by hostile actors, poll body. The authorities became aware of the breach of the data of over 40 million people in October 2022. Australia to be testing ground for US missile. Amazon nations to jointly fight deforestation. Summit in Brazil over to stop the biggest rainfalls from reaching a point of no return. Dozens of Pakistanis report of recent attacks. Jyoti Sureka's test sets sights on Siad Gold. We can match the best teams in physicality. India delivers a knockout punch on Pakistan top stable. It was important for me to be myself, says Surya Kumar. Jafar bats for Tilak's inclusion in India's 50 over squad. Jadeja, the most tested Indian cricketer so far in 2023. Murray's begins quest for fourth National Bank Open title in style. India Pakistan clash, 8 other games are scheduled. 3. There will be more India Pakistan games, just need to be patient. Ashraf record for Afghanistan ODI's Asia Cup. Shosh smashes a double century for Northamptonshire. With it closer to last 16 progs, Woods and Nakamura. Pranay focusing on short-term targets. Gokulam Kerala grounds AIIF to start on a winning note. GPA advocates gymnasts Asia participation. Mizoram boys, Chhattisgarh girls emerge champions. India Cricket Board makes 1.5 billion surplus in 5 years. Vishesh Briguvanshil to lead Indian basketball team. Impossible is not a miracle. The Arab nations' fairy tale ran to the round of 16 in the FIFA Women's World Cup could be the start of a new chapter. Less than a year ago, it became the first of African and Arab nation to reach the semi-final of the Men's World Cup. Fast, cool, and deadly. Miyazawa's prayer at Japan's charge. India takes first step to remove animals from drugs testing. Every drug in the market goes through a long journey of test days designed to check whether it can treat the disease for which it was created and whether it has any harmful effects for a long time. The first step was to test the candidate molecule in at least two animal species. This could change the obesity drugs waiting to hit the market. No, Eli Lilly and Pfizer are among the dozens of drug makers chasing an up to 100 billion a market of obesity treatment, which could also include oral options in the future. Having a closer look at conjunctivitis as cases rise. Text and contest. This is the last two page, guys. Again, increase in India's toy export from financial year 19 to financial year 23, says Minister. Number of children of refugees enrolled in Mizoram schools. Additional amount of wheat to be sold by a union government. A GST levied on online gaming, casinos, and horse race clubs. Surplus earned by India's cricket board from 2017 to 18 and to 2011 21 22. Can SMRs help India achieve net zero? What are small nuclear modular reactors? So what differentiates them from a conventional nuclear power plants? How can they contribute to decarbonization? How will they affect India's demand for and use of uranium? What legal and regulatory change do they entail? Women in Translation, a unique gauge that opens up a world of new experiences. Reading writers like Hani Hernox, Gitanjali Shri, Mahasweta Devi, and others provides an insightful into the cultural, historical, and artistic milieu that shaped their ideas, which would have been lost to a larger audience if not translated. Lourahan, one of the greatest museums, opened on August 10th, 1973, a quiz on the world famous destination history and treasures. Know your English. This is the last page, guys. At least read the newspaper for 2 hours to make you better in English communication. And also, it will easily you can improve the fluency very easily very soon. So please follow the links which I have given in the previous videos, so that will make you better in communication. So please subscribe the channel, like and comment, guys, and I will make the important notes in the upcoming days and the upcoming videos. So please watch my videos for more information related to healthcare education and competitive exams, and also personal interviews. Okay, and see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye, take care.